Coronavirus video 9/4/2020. We're talking about as far back as June or July the immunity situation in Sweden, and not to mention the management of the disease, the coronavirus disease in Sweden, being markedly different from the way we're managing it in the United States. And I was indicating back then that the fact that they had obtained immunity at that point, because their death rate had started to fall to ridiculously low numbers back here in late July, early August, had indicated to me that they had obtained immunity as a population, or herd immunity. And that was what we should be looking at, is immunity as opposed to isolation with a lack of immunity. I mean, bottom line is lockdowns flatten the curve, but they also slow the rate at which you obtain immunity. Sweden showed that getting immunity quickly ultimately stops the deaths. And at one point people were saying, oh, but they'd had so many deaths and they'd sacrificed all these people. My point back in these other videos was that, yeah, but we're going to catch up. Well, that's what we basically have done. If you look back in July, my video shows the deaths per million in the US were 441, and Sweden, which at the time was thought to be ridiculously high on that number, was 561. Now take into account this is late July, now we're in early September. If you look at today's statistics, early September, September 4th, the US is basically now exceeded in deaths per million the deaths in Sweden. Sweden is around 577. So they've gone up basically 15 in the time that we've gone up 140. What does that tell you? It tells you they've obtained immunity. You can argue what it is, what it isn't, but their management has resulted in that population obtaining immunity. And what does that mean? That means that our management, lockdowns, isolation, masks, kids out of school, is simply wrong. Our kids need to go back to school and basically exist, become educated, whatever you want to call it, and people who are healthy need to go back to work. So that's what we learned from Sweden, if we're smart enough to take note of the data and make reasonable conclusions. So that's the up and the down. Comments below. Thank you very much.